let us understand what exactly is happening. And this is a Vagrant file which I was talking about in the previous thing. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just open a notepad plus plus. So here my notepad plus plus is, I'll just go over here and understand what exactly is happening over here. I'll just zoom it out so that you guys can understand. Now you can see there is an Nginx VM, there is a Tomcat VM, okay, there is a Memcache VM, there is a RabbitMQ VM, there is a DB VM over here. We are going to spin all those VM, and what we'll do is we have to do it through a command. And let's talk about the Tomcat VM right now. So the name is app01. The VM box we are going to use is CentOS 7. The host name is app01, which is going to ping. These are the internal IPs that your system will take, and the VM provider, which I've talked about in the previous video when I was explaining Vagrant provider, is VirtualBox over here. All right. So this is the IP. You can change the IP if it clashes with something else, because and each IP is distinct, is separate. It should not clash with anything. Okay. Same thing. Let's talk about the RabbitMQ VM. RMQ01 is the name. Okay. This is what we are going to use as an image. This is the hostname name, private network, and this is the IP. This is the box name. Again, this is the MC01. This is for Memcache. Same this is for DB1, which are going to use my SQL server in this, and then this is the network, and this is IP. This is what we are going to spin. All right. So that's how you explain a Vagrant file, and this is another example of IASC. That's what we are going to use it over here. Okay. So there are other ways to do it. To access it, you can go over here. This is Windows 11, so there are different options. If you have Windows 10 or something else, it could be different. Show more options. You have git bash over here, so you can open it over here, and then it will come over here. So you can just increase it. Okay, and I'll just increase the size of it because it is quite small to see. I'll just select this part and go for the 18. Okay, apply and save. I think this is better for you to understand. Now if you'll do ls over here, it will show you that Vagrant file, because this is what we have opened over here. Now we have to install a few things. Now if you'll see, you can even do it over here like this: cat Vagrant, hit tab, file, and it can show you the details like this. So this is another way of opening things over here. Okay, now if you go over here, there are two things that you need to install. This is highly important because if you do not install that, host manager will throw an issue. This is kind of not necessary, but if there is an issue, you can install this as well. I'll just install this. I'll go over here. So where is my git bash over here? Let me just clear this first. Now we'll just do it. Hit paste, enter, and let it install. Okay, this can take up to some time. I'll just pause my video and then I'll open it once it is done. And as you can see that it has written Vagrant host manager plugin. This can take up to few minutes, and then it has installed. So I think we are good over here. So that's all you have to do for right now. If there could be an issue, we'll take that later. And if there is an issue, you can install this as well. I don't need it right now. We'll do that. Okay, let me just minimize this and come back over here. Now we are already here. So what I'll do is I'll type the command Vagrant up. And let's see how this works. I hope this does not throw any error. And this is one of those steps that is very much necessary for you to do, because this is going to see, this has already started bringing machine web01 with VirtualBox provider. 5 VMs it is going to read our, and then it read our Vagrant file, and the 5 VMs that has to be created, you have to do it. Okay, it will automatically start creating, and it has said that Ubuntu Xenial could not be found, attempting to find and install. It will do that, and it can take up to 5 to 10 minutes depending on your internet speed, depending on your process. There are a lot of things. All right, because it has already started downloading the first part. So right now only the first thing is happening, and then it will install. I'll pause the video over here, and then I'll start it once it's done. All right. Okay, so you can see over here is what is happening is it has started downloading and doing the stuff. You can see. And on to my right, you can see manual provisioning web01 1604. This has already started. One by one, this will install everything. It will try to download everything, and then it will install. So if I go over here, so this is for just for web1. Okay, and then you have to have a perfect internet connection for this. Otherwise, this might not happen, because it's going to download if you're doing for the first time. Then it will start for app01, then it will start for rmq01, and so on and so forth till db01 it has reached. And if you'll open it over here, then you can see that it has started. Okay, and one by one the VMs is going to create over, it is going to create the VMs over here. So right now we have only web01, one by one all will come. So I'll pause down my video and just wait for some time. Okay, so you can see something over here. It has already created manual provisioning web01. Now it is working for app01, which is second one. And if you're doing it again the first time, it is going to take some time and it is going to install stuff. Now, if you have not opened this as an administrator, it might ask you, it might send you a pop-up one or two times. You just have to approve it, that whether you want to give permission it to install, you have to give it permission to start the application. You just have to click on yes, and then it will start installing, downloading and stuff. Okay, so it might pop up for you, so do not get confused by that. It will start doing that. So right now you can see there is only web01 which is already done. Now this screen came because it has asked me, a Windows pop-up has come to me, something like this, and this is what I was talking about. So I just clicked a yes over that, and then it has started again, and one or two more times it might come, because for every VM it might come like that. Okay, so the progress is 60%, and as you can see the second one is also got created. The third one is RMQ, which is for RabbitMQ servers. I'm sorry I cannot increase the size for this because this is by default it is taking. So right now it is creating for RMQ01. Do not get confused by this CentOS. This is my separate VM which I created long back, in which I taught some course. So do not get confused by that. Alright. Right now you can see manual provisioning like this, and this is we are going to create. Now I'm going to stop the video because it's going to take some time, and I'll end it until and unless my processing stops for all the VMs. Alright. Okay, so now you can see this, the process is completed over here and everything is created, which is this. I think it is done. Now if I just show you by this, let me just show you. You can see all the 5 VMs are done over here. Okay, again I'm saying do not get confused by this. So if I click over it, you can see the base memory is 1024 MB, which is 1 GB, 2 processors, 16 MB is the video memory. This is what it is gonna get. You can increase it in the settings, but I do not want you to do that because this is what it is needed. For the app, it is 1 GB. For the RabbitMQ, it is 512 MB, which is fine. For this 512, this is 512. So all in all, less than 4 GB it is required. And if it is not performing well, you can always increase it by going to the settings part, and then you can go into the system. You can increase it over here. Right now it is blurred because my VM is running, so I have to switch off the VM, then I have to do it. Okay, so that is one of the thing. So I hope this part is clear to you, that how do you create the VMs out of a Vagrant file, and that's how you run it. So let me just clear this because this is done, and now we'll start the testing part. So before starting the testing part, I want you to understand something. Okay, so here is a paint over here so that I can explain you. Now there are 5 machines over here. Okay, 5 VMs over here, and now how it will work. Your web application has to make a proper call to the application, which is app01. Okay, we'll check that, we'll validate it right now. Then what you have to do is your application, which is app01, I think this is web01 if I'm not wrong, should make a call to DB, should make a call to our memcache, and should make a call to our RabbitMQ. Okay, so we're going to test that right away. So if there is a problem, we have to fix that. Probably it is going to work out of the box, and let us try to understand that. Let me close this. Okay, so we are going to test it over here. So right now what we can do is we can just do Vagrant SSH app01. So we are going to go inside app001. Now this is going to take some time for 1 or 2, not 1 or 2 minutes, more about like 5 or 10 seconds. Now okay, you can see that it has completed. Now what we can do, we have to check the ping whether it is going for every VM or not. So what we'll type here is ping RMQ, which is RabbitMQ01, and see the ping. And you can see this IP which we have assigned, it is coming perfectly. Whatever bytes we are sending, we are receiving it in time, and the response time is this. So this is perfect. Now this is the first connection that we're going to test. The next connection is for the memcache. So we'll just change the name over here. Memcache is MC01, and you can see this is the different IP for that, and then we are sending the packets and receiving the packets. It will keep on sending it, receiving it. You can press Ctrl C to stop it. Okay, so this is done. And the last thing that we're going to test is our ping. What we'll do, our database server. Now I have not set up the database yet. I have to set up memcache, database, cache, and queues and stuff. We have to set up that right now. I'm just trying to ping the machine because there are VMs that are created right now, and then you have to make a call to these VMs, because until and unless this application is able to make the call to all the VMs, the application would not work properly. Okay, so let us do the database part. And then perfect, you can see this is the IP and it is sending the ICMP packets, and you can see the sequence over here, and this is the response time. So this is perfectly working. Okay, let me stop this. Now this is something that we have tested, an application on 3 things. Okay, now there is a web application that has to be, there is a web box that we have created, and then it has to make a call to the application. What you can do is you can open a new folder, and not fold open new folder. You can open the same directory in which manual provisioning was there. Open the same thing. I can do it right away from here. Let me check new. Okay, so I've already opened new over here. Now what I'll do a Vagrant. I have to go inside it. So what I'll do is Vagrant SSH has to be done inside the web box. So web 01 has to be the thing. Okay, let's again wait for some time, 5 to 10 seconds it might take over here, and after that we are going to make a call to the application. Okay, so this is done. Now perfect, this is done. We are into the Vagrant box. Okay, this is something different. Now what we'll do again the same thing. Ping SSH, not sorry, ping, what was the name? The name was app01. This is the web box, do not get confused. And it is able to make the call. If you'll see this 192.168.33.12, let me Control C over here. This is the same IP that we have assigned to it, and if you have done it 1 or 2 times, then I think it would be easier for you to understand that how these internal IP work. We might cover it in some another video in the future. Okay, so I think this is done. Now right now you can see you are in the Vagrant box right now, here and here as well. And how do you come out of it? Okay, the Control C won't work over here, the Control D will work. So if I press Control D, you can see that it has come out and the control is now to my system. And if I compare it with this, you can see, not get confused, let me expand this here, Control D again, and the connection to 127.0.0 is closed and I am out of it. So I hope these things are clear to you. So just pause the video and try to muster up all the things that you have learned today. Try to recall and try to do some kind of thinking that what we have done today, how the architecture is working, how one application is making, how one box is making a call to other VMs, how one VM are related, and try to understand the architecture, because this is one of the most important steps in which you have to understand how this application is going to work. Now these are the VMs, these are the VMs that we have created in our own system, but in the real scenario, in the real world, there could be a particular VMs. This could be on cloud as well. Okay, so there is a system, Azure or AWS, there would be VMs out of it, and you have to do that on that. Okay, so I hope these things are clear to you guys, and these things can be look a bit of intimidating in the start, but when you start doing it, it'll be a breeze to understand. Okay, so if there is anything, feel free to comment below in the comment section and we will address that. So thanks guys, and I'll see you in the next one.